weekly meeting, our weekly live training on Facebook and on Instagram. If you're watching on Facebook, if you're watching on Instagram, and if you're not a member of the Teach Yoga in English support group yet, go to Facebook and search for it. And for some reason, hi Mariana, how are you doing, lovely? For some reason, I can't seem to get in, so I'm gonna try again. And maybe you're actually live already. Might be that we are. We are live. That's weird. I don't see anything, but I do see it on the Facebook page. So let's just go with that then. How is everyone doing today? How are you all feeling? I see Hannah is here, Mariana and Maria are here. Who's here with me on Facebook today? Let me quickly share. Let me quickly share the link with those that are in the Facebook group, and then we can start. Because today I'm going to speak to you about 5 reasons why you find sequencing hard. And this is kind of inspired by the people that were with me last week on the Teach Yoga in English course bundle. And we spoke about challenges. We spoke about things that we find difficult as yoga teachers. And one of them was sequencing. And I think that there are very common reasons for it. There are 5 reasons that you find this challenging that I want to share with you. And I hope that it's useful for you to also maybe analyze your challenges as a yoga teacher when it comes to creating sequences for your students. So, hi Wissa, how are you doing? And Davy is here, so nice to see all of you. On Facebook, let me know who's here with me as well. And let's dive in straight away. So, inspired by those that were with me on the course bundle last week. Oh, and I want to remind you, for those that are here live with me, go to the link in my bio after our training and register for the International Yoga Teacher Summit, because the summit is happening from the 19th to the 21st of August. And I will be live with 20 other yoga teachers and yoga business coaches that have really created an international business. And I think it's very useful for you to also get some inspiration and get tools and tricks and techniques, strategies that have helped us create our own international business. So I've invited all of these people to join me live, to join me with interviews and master classes. So go to the link in my bio if you haven't registered already. Same for Facebook, and I'm going to put the link here in the comments. All right, so for those that are here with me, do you find it hard to sequence? Is this something that you find challenging? Let me know. Hi, Julian, how are you doing? Do you find it hard to sequence? I'm just going to make sure that we're actually sharing the video in the Facebook group because it doesn't show up. Let's see. Video doesn't show there, that's weird. But it is here. Do you find it hard? This is really weird. So we are live, but it doesn't show. Really, really weird. One last try, and otherwise we're going to continue. Okay, I will share it with the Facebook after. We'll share it after. So often, teacher training provides you with really great knowledge, but it doesn't give you enough opportunities to practice what you have learned. So this means that after your yoga teacher training, you're saturated with information that you're not able to use. So you have a lot of knowledge, a lot of information, but you can't actually use it. So then to become skilled in something, you need repetition. You need repetition and you need constructive feedback. Constructive feedback is the type of feedback that you can learn to improve. So it's not just negative or just positive, but it's feedback that also explains reasons why and how to improve it. So to improve, you need to be given the opportunity to correct yourself and learn from your mistakes. So you're doing something once, get feedback, and then doing it twice, get feedback, and keep repeating that process. Now, many teacher trainings these days, unfortunately, are very fast-paced. So they are taking place in 3 to 4 weeks, and the number of students is also really high. So that doesn't give all the teacher trainers the energy and the time to give every student in class or give every student in the training the attention that they deserve. Another reason that sequencing remains a significant challenge for teachers, even after they have completed their training, is that teacher trainers don't always include specific amount of hours focused on specific concepts that they should. So they are guidelines written by, for example, Yoga Alliance or Yoga Alliance professionals. And these concepts, they vary from teaching techniques to physiology, but also the physiology and the physiology, the ethics, history, business, and much more. So some trainers prioritize other aspects and don't teach you how to sequence. So you might learn a little bit about it in training, but you do not get enough time to study and to practice doing it. So really putting your skills and your knowledge into action. I think that is the number one reason that many people lack confidence in their sequencing skills. So it's really just a lack of exposure, a lack of feedback, and a lack of practice. Yeah. So it's the number one reason. But there are 5 more, 5 challenges why you find sequencing hard, or 5 reasons why sequencing might be hard for you. So listen up. So apart from limited exposure, I've identified 5 reasons that I see in our community. The 5 reasons are lack of consistency, inconsistent students, finding inspiration, not having a theme, intention, or a purpose, and teaching to your students instead of for your students. And I'm going to speak about all of them. So number 1, lack of consistency. What does consistency mean? Consistency is when you do something on a consistent or a frequent basis, and you do things the same way as well. So when a yoga teacher lacks consistency, it's often a result of trying out many different things, and as well, not teaching as your authentic self. So this happens especially when you're just starting out, or when you haven't fully embodied your teaching voice and your style. It also happens when you first start teaching yoga in another language, because you've got a sort of identity, a personality that you bring into the classroom. And when you want to do that in another language, it's something that you really need to rebuild or rediscover about yourself. So all beginnings are challenging. But to create consistency and develop your own teaching style, it's important, first of all, it's very important that you start teaching regularly. If you haven't already, take the quiz. What's your style of teaching voice? It's in my bio, and in the Facebook group, you will find it everywhere, I think, in the headline. So what is it called again on Facebook? The featured posts. Have a look at it, because we've got a quiz for you to help you find out what your style of teaching voice is. And based on that, I invite you to really create consistency in the way that you sequence, in the way that you cue, and the way that you put your sequences together. So the format of your sequences. Number 2 is inconsistent students. An inconsistent student refers to students that drop in or that don't come to your classes on a regular basis. So these are students that you maybe see only once or twice, or once a month, or once every 3 months. But that means that you're often working with people that you don't know very well, and they don't know you very well either. So the result of that is that you do not exactly know what they like and what they need from you in a yoga class. The worst thing of all is that they are not able to see progress, and they don't receive this sense of transformation in their yoga classes. So as a teacher, you know how important it is to have consistent practice yourself, to practice regularly and preferably every day. But for your students, it's equally important that they come to class regularly. Because if they go to class in a very frequent basis, so stay consistent with it, they will see, feel, and notice progress in their physiological abilities. So they will see changes and feel changes, transformation in their body, but also in their mind, and hopefully even off the mat in their daily lives. So as well as the effects these changes have on their personal and professional development, we want to have consistent students so that we know what we need to teach them, because you know your students very well. That means that you won't have that many surprises when you get into your yoga class. I'm sorry, I'm looking at the screen. I've got a little stain on my screen here. So that's number 2, inconsistent students. So maybe help your students, remind your students of the necessity of your yoga class needing to be consistent, and have them come to your classes more often. Number 3 is finding inspiration. And I think this is a really big topic for many. So not feeling inspired could have many different causes. But the biggest reason for not feeling inspired is often a strong sign that you have become inconsistent with your own practice. And perhaps because you're trying to stick to a routine that doesn't suit you, so you take it as an indication to get back on your mat. So when you don't have inspiration to write sequences, it often means that you need to practice yoga asana often or more. Yeah. So it could also be that you're designing a sequence, you feel overwhelmed by all the options, that you feel uninspired because you're feeling low on energy, maybe you feel stressed, or you're involved in many different activities. So obtaining inspiration for designing new sequences in these circumstances or in similar ones is very, very, very difficult. The number one thing to do here is to go to your mat and practice yourself. You will get a lot of inspiration from just doing that. Now, other ways that you can find inspiration, and I've got many things that you can do for that, but I will tell you next week, because next week I'm going live to speak about 5 ways to make sequencing easier. But some things that you can do are going to practice with a different teacher, so they have a different approach and use different sequences as well. You can create your own sequencing bank. Maybe you grab a yoga book. Don't have a book right here. Maybe you grab a book like a sequencing book, and then have a look at one asana, pick that asana and create your whole sequence around it. And there are many other ways. I'm going to tell you all of those next week, and also on the English for Yoga Teachers course. Some of you have seen it already, but we opened the wait list, and the wait list is open until the 31st of July. That means you can register and you get $350 off just for registering on the wait list. So on the English for Yoga Teachers course, excuse me, I help you with lots of inspiration to create sequences. But remember as well, next week, I'll be live to speak about this too. So that's number 3. Finding inspiration is often a reason why you find it hard to sequence. Number 4 is not having a theme, an intention, or a purpose. So how you arrive at the end of class is important, but where you want to arrive is more important. And it makes much easier to find out how to get there. All right, so think about that again. How you arrive at the end of class is important, but where you want to arrive is more important. All right, so in other words, without a theme, without an intention, or without purpose in mind, we feel the least creative. And therefore, the very first thing you need to do is create an anchor. And this anchor is a theme, is an intention, or is a purpose. Is the theme, intention, or purpose of your sequence. And it automatically gives you a problem to solve too, or a skill to develop, or a goal to work towards. Because if your theme is something like loving kindness, your asanas, the words that you use, any metaphors that you're including, maybe even visualizations, all of that will be based on the theme loving kindness. If it's a skill that you want to develop, for example, strength for headstands, you'll probably be working a lot on your core, on your upper arms, on your shoulders. So it gives you a lot of things already to include in your sequence. So challenge number 4, or the reason why you find sequencing hard, is not having a theme, intention, or purpose. Number 5 is teaching to, or instead of teaching for your students. So let's have a look at these prepositions, to and for. What do they really mean? And what do they mean in combination? What is teaching to and what is teaching for your students? So it's far more complicated to sequence to your students than it's for your students. Teaching to your students often causes you to think about yourself and your approach. So questions like, what am I going to teach today? Or will my students enjoy this sequence? Is it working? Is it useful? Will they notice progress? All of those types of questions mean that you are not focused on them, but you are focused on the way that you teach. Right? So I use the preposition to describe this, because it suggests that you send out your own teachings in the direction of your students and that the process ends there. Now, if you teach for your students, it communicates that your teaching starts with your students, not with you. So that you listen to your students and that you take the knowledge and the needs of your students as your main indicator of where you want to go. So teaching for someone is turning around your perspective and thinking about what your students need and what they want. So think about the progress and what you want them to feel and what aspects of the sequence would help you or would help them to take within the rest of their day. So this really focuses on the reason why your students come to class. And that's another reason for you to get in conversation with your students and ask them what is their aim or their goal of coming to class? What are their needs? What is the reason for them joining your class? Because that will give you a lot of information to decide on what you're going to include in your sequence. It makes it a lot easier for you. You don't have to think about it so much anymore. So this approach of teaching for your students also ensures that you can read the room and make adjustments to your sequence if necessary. So it helps you to stay open and spontaneous and react to both anticipated but also unanticipated circumstances, ensure inclusion, personal development, and a chance for your students to advance in their postural skill level. So postural skill level has everything to do with the body. Right. Does this make sense? Do you have any questions about this? 5 reasons why sequencing may be hard for you. Do you have questions? Questions. For those that have joined us later, I'm going to quickly summarize. So the main number 1 reason why sequencing is hard is that you didn't get enough exposure in your teacher training. And this is because many teacher training right now are very short, or there are so many other students that the teachers don't have enough time and energy to give you the attention that you deserve, or to focus on specifically developing your sequencing skills. So that's reason number 1. But then I had 5 challenges, 5 things that you may come across as well. So it's lack of consistency. So that's not being consistent in the way that you format your sequences, in the way that you use your words in your sequences, but also in the way that you practice yourself. So it's a lack of consistency. Then we have inconsistent students. So people that do not come here to your classes frequently or very often. So if they are not consistent, you don't really know what they need and what you can do for them, or the reason that they come to class. And for that reason, they will not be able to measure progress, but you are not able to adjust your sequences to them either. And you're just teaching whatever because you never know who shows up. Really, that's the reason. Then we've got number 3, finding inspiration. It's very hard to find inspiration if you are not practicing yourself. So the biggest reason for not finding inspiration is because you haven't got a consistent yoga practice yourself. The other thing could be that you've been practicing the same thing over and over and over again, and you need a fresh breath into your life. And I will tell you all about that next week when I speak about 5 ways to make sequencing easier. And then we've got not having a theme, intention, or purpose. And really the theme, intention, or purpose will give you all the knowledge you need to create your sequence around it. It really gives you a great anchor. Remember the word anchor. To create your sequence is the purpose or the goal of where you want to go with the sequence. Where do you want to arrive? And how do you want your students to feel when the class finishes? And then teaching to your students, or instead of teaching for your students. So I said that when you teach to your students, you're really busy thinking about who you are, the way your students perceive you and your class. And you're thinking less about them and what they really need or really want from you. So teach for your students instead of teaching to. All right, I don't see any questions coming in. I'm going to double check in the Facebook group. Let me know, do you have any questions about this, anyone? I don't see anything. That means that it's very clear. It means that we're very clear today. All right, then, I want to remind you one last time, the wait list for the English for Yoga Teachers course is open. So go to the link in my bio or have a look here on Facebook. The link is in the comments. I'm going to put that here. I don't think I actually put it there earlier. So have a look at the link there. Sign up to the wait list because by signing up, you receive $350 off. And I think it's a really, really great way to save money. Very easily, because the only thing you need to do is put in your email address. Then the second reminder is the International Yoga Teachers Summit, which is happening the 19th to the 21st of August. And we are joined, we've got Momo Yoga here as well. We are joined by 20 other yoga teachers and professionals, business coaches, organizations, retreat companies, anyone and anything to do with yoga teaching, to help you get tools and tricks and tips, techniques and strategies to build your own international yoga teaching career as well. So have a look at the link in my bio. All the information is there. You can sign up already. And I'm going to finish for today, but if you have any questions that come up after this training about sequencing, maybe how to memorize your sequences or how to gain more practice sequencing, send me a message, because next week I'm back and I'm going to speak about 5 ways to make your sequencing easy. Yeah, so to really upgrade your skills from now understanding why it's hard to next week finding ways to actually make it easier. All right, have a great rest of your Wednesday. I hope to see you all next week, same time, Wednesday, 4 p.m. CST, and sending you all lots of love. Bye, everyone.